Hey everybody, it's Julie. Welcome to Hello Monday. Today I'm going to be making a monochromatic eclipse card. And I love the eclipse effect, but I thought it would be really fun to go with just beautiful, solid cardstock. And this is the Card Shop Basil cardstock. So it's a nice heavier weight, like 100 pound. And I already had a 4-bar note card made in my stash. It's 3.5 by 5 inches and it's top folding. So I'm just going to use what I got. And I cut that robin's egg blue cardstock down to 3.5 by 5 inches. I'm also going to be using the classic block alphabet and the classic block numbers die sets to create this effect. So I'm going to use a little bit of this washi tape, or not washi tape, it's called purple tape, and it's a lower tack tape. But I like using the thinner stuff. Like they have a wider roll of this stuff, but I like using the thinner stuff because I think it's easier for me to see where I'm positioning the letters. And I wanted to connect the two letters together this way, and then I'm going to connect them vertically using a smaller piece of tape. So it keeps everything spaced and together exactly the way I want it. So once I have that done, I'm going to go ahead and take my spatula because I tried this before. This is a second attempt. I tried to grab it just by the tape, and the tape just came off and left the dies. So I had to reposition them all over again. And then I grabbed my little spatula here and got underneath the dies, and I was able to pull it all up as one unit. So I'm going to take my top panel here in the robin's egg blue and get that positioned in the lower right-hand corner. I decided to go with a super simple layout here. And then I'll go ahead and get that onto this sandwich, make my sandwich and put that on the platform, send that through the Gemini Junior. Now, when I get these letters out, I want to eject them, but I want to save them. So I'm going to save all the letters, and I want to save the negative pieces too. So I have a little dish here so nothing gets lost. And there's no ejection holes for some reason on the B. I have one of the earlier prototypes I'm working with here, so it doesn't have any ejection holes on the letter B. So I had to take my X-Acto knife to kind of get under the edge of that and pop it out. When you have tape over those ejection holes, it makes it harder to eject those shapes. So just that's why I had to use the X-Acto knife for the letter B to get under the edge there. So now I have a piece of this juicy pear cardstock, and I decided to go ahead and position them in different spots kind of strategically in case I wanted to use this negative piece to make another card. And so I kind of toyed around with that for a little bit and decided, oh, you know what, let's just die cut these multiple times, but pay attention to where you're placing them in case you want to use this piece of cardstock for a future project. So that's why I did it that way. I ended up not yet, but I've got it on reserve for when I do. So now I'm going to take my blue panel and put some of that adhesive tape runner on the back side. And then I want to make sure that I put some on the base card where those gaps, where the negative spaces of the letters are going to go, because then when I go to mount the green letters, they'll stick to the card front. Now you could use glue if you wanted to, but I was like, no, just grab that tape runner and just make sure you put some glue down. When I forget, that's when I use liquid glue. So now I'm going to take all those green letters, and I have 3 sets of them, and I'm going to start by placing all those into the little openings, the negative spaces there. And I grabbed the green, and I should have grabbed the blue ones, so that's kind of an oops on my part. I meant to grab the blue negatives, and there's a reason why. But anyway, I popped the green ones in there, and I just fixed this later on. You'll see me do that when I go, oh. See, we make mistakes, right? But usually, oftentimes, there's a way to fix it if you just kind of like, oop, stop for a minute and think about it. So now I'm going to continue mounting the rest of these letters, and it's going to be easier to use my Zig 2-way glue pen. So I'm just going to anchor those onto a piece of chipboard that I've wrapped with some press and seal to keep them in place so they don't move around and I don't have to get glue all over my fingers. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue adding all of these letters, and because I die cut 3 sets, it's going to create this really nice raised effect, faux chipboard effect. So I'm just going to keep going, adding and adding and adding these until I run out. Now, eventually, I decided I wanted even thicker, more of an eclipse effect than I was getting with just 3 layers of these letters. Now, here you're going to see me fix those negative spaces of the letter B. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop those in now while I'm like, oh, that's right, I got to fix this. Otherwise, it doesn't create that full eclipse effect that we want. So we want it to look like everything is sitting on top of the blue cardstock, right? So now I'm just going to go ahead and die cut more because I decided I wanted this thicker. And here you can see how cool and thick that has become. So now I can take the blue letters that I originally cut out of that top panel, and I'm going to pop that back on top. Sorry about my hair there. It looks like a spider. Spider's creeping into the camera. Sorry. And then once I've got that finished, I'm going to use my bone folder to kind of burnish everything down. And the effect that you get is so cool. So it's really fun to play with different colors of cardstock to come up with this effect, because just the instant the card is slightly tilted, you see this second tone of color. And I've done it with like orange and pink, and you could do it with pink and purple. But if you have some high contrasting colors, that's what makes it really fun. And I hope you'll give this a try. Thanks for watching.